This is what the Roman Forum looked like in 1864, and this is what it looks like today. When archaeologists began digging here, they uncovered an entire hidden world of ancient ruins buried deep underground and unseen for centuries. Over time, the city had risen by more than 10 meters, burying older buildings and streets completely out of sight. All over the world, you'll find ruins slowly left behind as cities grow upward, streets rise, and modern life is built right on top of the past. The ancient city of Troy, for example, was rebuilt 10 times, creating 10 distinct layers stacked on top of each other. Even the city of Seattle has an entire network of mysterious, abandoned shops and houses hidden beneath its busy streets. But why are cities built on top of older cities? Does the ground really rise? And why does history so often end up buried so deep underground? To find out, we need to see how entire civilizations literally build over the past. In this video, we'll look at the astonishing layers beneath Rome, the strange artificial hills that dot the Middle East, and the underground city buried beneath Seattle more than a century ago. What's beneath the Basilica of San Clemente? There's no single reason why cities are layered on top of one another. In ancient Rome, for example, after the Great Fire in the 1st century, much of the city had to be rebuilt. Instead of clearing all the rubble away, it was faster and easier to flatten it and build directly on top. This meant that each new building sat slightly higher than the one before. To match these new heights, streets were raised too, resurfaced with rubble and stones from the surrounding debris. Every time a fire, flood, or earthquake hit, the same thing happened again. Over centuries, the street level rose meter by meter, burying entire neighborhoods beneath new ones. One of the clearest examples is the Basilica of San Clemente in Rome. The basilica people see today was built in the 12th century, but directly underneath it lies a 4th century church. That church was built on top of an ancient temple, which itself was built over a Roman house. And beneath that, there are even older ruins. Altogether, the valley where San Clemente stands is now about 18 meters higher than it was during the 1st century. Here's how it happened. In the 1st century, before the Colosseum was even built, a Roman villa sat in this valley. After a fire damaged it, followers of the mysterious Mithraic cult converted it into a temple. By the end of the 4th century, as Christianity spread through Rome, the temple was partly destroyed and a basilica was built directly on top of it. This basilica served the community for 800 years, but by the 12th century, it fell into ruin. By then, the ground level around it had risen so much that instead of demolishing it, a new basilica was built right on top, the one that stands today. Over time, the older ruins below were filled in and completely forgotten. No one kept track of what lay beneath. It wasn't until the 1800s that an archaeologist started digging and rediscovered the old basilica, with a staircase leading down to the 1st century temple. Inside, they found a Mithraic shrine and ancient paintings still on the walls, an entire world hidden for centuries. Artificial hills tells. Explained Rome isn't alone in this. Long before Rome, people in the Middle East were already building layer upon layer. Across the region, you'll find strange hills with flat tops. These are called tells. A tell is an artificial mound formed by generations of people rebuilding on the same spot, over and over again. Inside each tell lies a timeline of forgotten settlements, stacked like a layer cake of history. The ancient city of Troy, one of the most famous tells, is Troy. It began as a small settlement around 3000 BC. Most of its early buildings were made from mud bricks, and when they were destroyed, the bricks decomposed and covered the ruins in soil. A new village would then be built on top. Over thousands of years, 8 more civilizations rose and fell on the same mound, from the Persians to Alexander the Great, and eventually the Romans. By 500 AD, when its nearby port dried up, the last people left. Nature slowly took over, hiding Troy until it was rediscovered in the 1800s. Sinking cities. Shanghai, sometimes cities sink instead of rising. Did you know that Shanghai is sinking by about 1 centimeter every year? For centuries, the only way to get drinking water was to pump it out of the ground. But doing that empties the pores that hold the water, causing the soil to compress and sink. With soft soil and the massive weight of skyscrapers pressing down, Shanghai has sunk about 3 meters in the past century alone. When cities sink below sea level, they can be lost to floods, so the only option is to build higher. Seattle's underground city, that's exactly what happened in Seattle. Although the city is only about 175 years old, it already has an entire network of buried streets and abandoned buildings beneath its modern downtown. In 1889, a huge fire destroyed most of the city. Instead of rebuilding everything at the same level, the city's leaders decided to fix Seattle as constant flooding by raising the streets higher and installing drainage underneath. So, the new city rose, leaving entire shops, sidewalks, and passageways sealed off below ground. You can still explore parts of this hidden city today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.